Riviera, Monaco is the second smallest state in the world. Despite its size, Monaco boasts the highest number of millionaires and billionaires per capita in the world. Impressive for a country that's just over 2 kilometers squared. While Graham Hill was nicknamed Mr. Monaco for his 5 wins here, several other drivers have had many successful races here. Ayrton Senna went on to surpass Graham's record, while Michael Schumacher, Alain Prost and Niki Lauda all won here multiple times. While famous faces around the paddock are commonplace, few stars can resist the glitz and glamour of Monaco. With the Cannes Film Festival being held around a similar time of year to the race, expect some of Hollywood's best to make an appearance over the weekend. The race here at Monaco is something of an outlier. Formula One regulations state that each race on the calendar must feature the least number of laps required to exceed 305 kilometers.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Races Driving League for Season 18, Round 8 of the Championship, and this is the one they all want to win. Welcome to the Monaco Grand Prix. We're getting underway with qualifying for our second 100% race of the season. It promises to be an absolute corker. For those of you who are not here for the 100% race in Japan, fantastic stuff the entire way through that race. Che and Grumio, the two championship protagonists, were going at it hammer on tongs throughout the entirety of that Grand Prix. Grumio winning out by just half a tenth in the end. And this race promises to be as exciting. Obviously it's Monaco, but there's a number of challenges presenting our drivers in tonight's event, and that main challenge being simulation damage will be on in tonight's race. So these guys will be dealing with absolute maximum damage proportions should they get it wrong. And there's the first sign of it. Red J wing damage about to go on to that lap. And that's perhaps first blood to the circuit tonight. We'll keep a glimpse out on the first cars. We've got a full grid as well for tonight's race. It's minus Landlord, who is being covered by EJ tonight, and AT, who is covering off Yogalu. So Ethan then starts the first lap of the night, going up through the gears and up towards turn 3. The left-hander going towards the casino into 4 now. Keeping the car under control for the run down towards turn 5, in towards the chicane for the first time. Sorry, into the hairpin. Keeping it nice and controlled here. The drivers now all know what's at stake should you get it wrong. And of course, qualifying so crucial here at Monaco. It's absolutely imperative that you set a decent lap and get yourself up front for the race. So we'll be keeping an eye on drivers who are normally fantastic in qualifying, especially or in particular around here. It's Ethan and Valdates. I don't think he just lost tempo. I think it's okay. No, he's okay. But I'm sure at some stage during qualifying we'll see. We've got a car showdown. That's one of the Alpines. That's JB, who's had some sort of. I think he may have slowed for perhaps his teammate. His teammate being obviously the other Alpine in this case, obviously Curtis. But I'm sure at some point during qualifying we'll see would-be contenders being reminded by the barriers the price they pay for failure or for so much as one mistake. Emery first time on the board there, 1 minute 8.015. Good start from the Haas driver. Good to have at least one solid lap on the board, and of course Emery one of the stronger qualifiers on the grid. In terms of the Drivers' Championship going into this one, after Dan's... Oh, we've got retirement. Obsessed Gamer has crashed. Has he crashed or has he just retired from the session? I'll have to double check that. Looks like both Mercedes cars are in the pits. So I think that's just maybe a quali ban I forgot about. Bear with me a second, I'll check my notes. First driver making the way out onto the racetrack again. I'll double check this quickly. Obsessed is serving a qualifying ban for tonight's race. So we'll start last on the grid. So we have a lot of work to do in this race. So we want to try and nab Mercedes' first points of the season. Those guys still scoreless after 7 rounds. But in terms of the top of the championship, there's two of our contenders there. They're the two Ferraris of Dan and Che. Che 8 points back from Grumio. Dan only 10 off the lead. But Grumio is back to being your championship leader after managing to trump Che last time out at Imola. But of course, those Ferraris still showing the way in the Constructors' Championship by a decent margin over those at RB. Lando, of course, not with us tonight. EJ, one of 2 reserves on the grid, the other one being AT, replacing the absent Yogolu. No, sorry, no, hang on. Eighth, wait. Sorry, no, Duck is reserving in place of Yogolu. There we go. AT has the seat. There's been a lot of chopping and changing at Aston Martin over the course of the last few weeks. A number of drivers involved in the shrewd transfer dealings done by the team from Silverstone. And that's a site we've seen before at Aston Martin. Number 5, courtesy held by 2 years on the Aston Martin team from, of course, 4-time world champion Sebastian Vettel. Of course, took his last victory around the Principality in Monaco in 2017. Because that was for Ferrari. Aston Martin yet to take the victory on their real life return to F1. In terms of top times, though, still really shows the way by 6/10. Make that 2/10 now over Che. Dan across the line takes away 3rd place. Grumio out on the racetrack here. He's coming to the last couple of corners now into the pit lane though. He's lost an end plate. An early struggle there from the reigning champion. Pope across the line, 1 minute 8.160. The 2 Haas cars are getting dangerously quick. Of course, Pope, a former winner of this race, took his last victory at Monaco with the Haas team back in season 15 on F1 23. Of course, he was only a reserve that evening's race. Imrie, of course, has come gut-wrenchingly close to winning Monaco the last 2 seasons. Of course, a connection issue with around 15 laps to go denied him in season 16. Season 17, perhaps just a few driving errors there that cost him towards the end of the race. Of course, Grumio went on to take victory in both, to my memory. Of course, Grumio also denying Grovey in the season 16 race. Of course, both Imrie and Grovey making change of strategy. Well, Imrie disconnecting, Grovey going for a different set of tyres, and Grumio took full advantage of that and went on to take the win. So plenty of history for the RDL around Monaco in this, the 18th Grand Prix held at the Principality in this league. Right now, though, it's all uniform up front. The 1st and 2nd Haas, 2nd, 3rd and 4th Ferrari, 5th and 6th Williams. And behind them, it's Curtis in P7, then Ben P8 doing a fantastic job for McLaren there. PJ 9th and JB rounds the odd top 10. EJ is in 11th place, and it's AT, Flying Duck, Red J, and 10th Canada, the last car set times. Obsessed Gamer will start last for this one. Ethan, Grumio, Conley Gobbler, and Nalbar all yet set laps. But of course, a relatively shorter qualifying session here. Only 18, back to the short qualifying sessions of 18 minutes to accommodate for the longer 78 lap event. I'm not sure how I hit the inside wall there. No, it looks like he's doing okay. He's going back towards turn 1. One of the Alpines following him. That will be Curtis. P7 at the moment. I'll let him go. Here he goes faster still. 1 minute 7.4. Doing a fantastic job right now. Few cars stopping up, waiting for me to go through. Most likely he'll return to the pits at the end of this lap. Even if he was to crash now, I'd say he's putting it in a good position to, in terms of starting spot for the race. Grumio now back on his outlap, going back onto the racetrack and intends to try and get himself up the order. Of course, again, a former winner around here himself. Back over the line, and here's start another lap. Was that early contact with the wall? I don't think it was. I think it's okay. It looked awfully close. But Grumio is still staying as he is. It's round ball with the reigning champion. See the sheer amount of control on display there from Grumio as he rounds the last corner. Has he got enough to try and top Imri's time? He doesn't top it. 1 minute 7.5. It's remarkably close. Up at the top now. Pope setting 1 minute 8 dead. That puts him into P3 in front of Che. I think Alvar this time look to set a solid lap, but invalidating there at the chicane at turn 10. So past halfway now in this qualifying session, we're still waiting to see who will be next one to come round to the line. Shade starts his next lap. P4 right now, 1 minute 8.2, his best effort. Puts him just over a tenth in front of his teammate Daniel Aaron in P5. Of course, RDL's newest Grand Prix winner after last week at Imola. Of course, a race that relied heavily on track limit penalties. Of course, Cannon, the only full-time driver last week, to actually end up without a penalty at the checkered flag. Sits in 9th place in the championship, tied with Websy and just 1 point behind PJ for P7, so it's all very close to it. And Haas in particular, in terms of constructors, with a big opportunity to try and outscore RB and push themselves close to second. Of course, Grumio with that lead in the championship. Landau only managed to score 45 points this season, so that puts the team on 168 points for the season so far. Of course, that puts him behind Ferrari in the championship, who have already crossed the 200 mark. They sit on 128 points. Sorry, rather 228 points, sorry. Just because that sheer consistency being put through by the Ferrari boys in at these first 7 rounds, and that we're looking for that to continue on all the way to the end of the season. Never won the Constructors' Championship in the RDL of Ferrari. Landlord's managed to win the Drivers' title for them. So the only Ferrari champion in the series. But in terms of the constructors, never before gone Ferrari's way. Imri continuing to try and go faster and faster, trying to improve here. He goes through. Oh, tap to the outside wall there. He's up by 800 of a second and keeping it valid. Another tap to the wall. But everything's under control. Into the last corner and now charging towards the line. Has he found an improvement by a bit more? 1 minute 7.360. He's getting almost another 10th there. And notice how no one's retired from this session at this point, obviously because there's no 3-stage qualifying. No one can afford to. There's always time to try and go for set another lap. Grumio second down in his first sector. Cotton's P4 now, 1 minute 8.135, puts him in front of both Ferraris. 6 drivers have managed to get into the 1 minute 8s. Of course, 2 of them are now broken to the 1 minute, obviously broken to 1 minute 7s. Pope looking to join them this time if he can. He's on his fresh set of soft tyres. He's 4 tenths down at the end of the first sector, so a bit of improvement needs to be done there. Yellow flag in the third sector. That's one of the Red Bulls coming into the pit lane. Down at the last corner, coming through, starts next lap. Che is up at the chicane, so the hairpin at turn 6. I keep doing that. I keep calling the chicane when it's a hairpin. Top 2 now, cars are both back in the pit lane. Flying Duck retiring. The Aston Martin may have had some sort of altercation with the barriers. Oh, that's right in the middle of the racetrack. And that is not a nice place to be sat. He's caught someone else. That's caught EJ. EJ's been caught unawares. And now the RB out of the session as well. And not the sort of place you want to be caught retiring from. Tough break for the reserve in the RB, who start from at highest 9th place on the starting grid. There's Kurtz at the last corner, looking to improve on his effort, but obviously that's invalidated, so we'll go again. 3 minutes to go. So there's enough time to go for another run. It's about half the pack still out on the racetrack at the moment. Pope invalidated. And Grumio going back out there. He's relentless in his pursuit to try and catch Imri. Of course, the race to the first corner could also be crucial. One of the shorter ones on the calendar. In terms of runs to turn 1 and rivaling that in terms of track length against circuits like Las Vegas, for example. Grumio letting Dan go. Let's see what sort of split time he merges with. Into chicane, everything under control. The sheer speed on display from these guys is absolutely immense. And he's almost a 10th of himself. It wouldn't be enough to get replaced in a minute, but he's got still a bit of time. With a wobble there out of turn 16. And now through turn 19, off the corner and towards the line. What has he got in the tank? He doesn't improve there. That slide may have cost him massively out of the swimming pool section. Now the minute 40 to go, we're starting to see more and more cars out of the racetrack. Grumio reporting 8% tyre wear on his outlap. Jamie's already punctured a set of his. It just shows you what these guys are up against in tonight's race. Big smoke from a lock up there going into turn 5. Grumio able to navigate that easily. 10th cam retiring. To my mind is in the pit lane. There she's been put back in the garage. So it's P9 for her. EJ down to P10. Websy let a few cars go here before he goes for his lap. Get another way for the Ferrari and the Alpine there. Because everyone wanted to be the last car around to the finish line. Yellow flag. Not sure that was for. Up in the hairpin, one of the Haas cars works with it. Let's see who that was. That one would have been Pope. Doesn't look to have damage. 25 seconds to go. Imri, 6,000's up. Oh, big step there to the inside, to the wall. He's gained a fair bit here. Oh, another tap there. He seems to be doing just fine. Improved by a few tenths to come towards the line. This could be the bona fide pole lap. 1 minute 7.1, and he shaved a full second off over the course of the session. Checkered flag has now fallen, and Grumio has got his work cut out from on his final lap. Next car to the line will be. What did I miss who that was? That was Cott. He's gone to P3. Next car around will be Pope. Coming into the pit lane with P4 for him at best. One of the Ferraris in behind him, that will be Dan. Off of turn 19. Can he improve at all? Up to P5. Che comes in behind him. Che takes P5 back. Look how close it is between those two. Webb's into P7. Here comes Courtney Goblin with Grumio right behind him. Grumio improves, but it's not enough. It looks like Imri's got pole. Alvaro into the pit lane, 18 to the pit lane, and that will cap off qualifying. So, Imri then goes on pole for Monaco. And could be looking potentially, should things go well over the next 78 laps, could be looking at finally taking victory here in Monaco after being denied so cruelly the previous 2 seasons. But of course, that's all to come over the course of tonight's Races Driving League broadcast. Make sure to stick around. Back with you in a few minutes' time to start the race. Here we go then, time to get underway then for the Monaco Grand Prix. Moments away from the start of the formation lap. It should be an absolutely fantastic race. 78 laps of action coming your way. There is a look at the circuit. Grumio, of course, your defending winner for Haas. Looking to go back-to-back for that team. 39 laps last season, 78 this time around. It promises to be an absolute spectacle. So make sure to stick around for this. This should be very, very entertaining. Of course, Monaco, one of the tightest circuits of the season. It's not the tightest, it's one of the toughest to win at. And of course, those of you who didn't join us during qualifying, simulation damage is on for tonight's race. And red flag's been put to increase as a permanent change going forward, but for just for tonight, sim damage is on to give these guys a real challenge over the 78 laps. And we're waiting now for the formation lap to begin. Get this Grand Prix underway. Of course, those of you who are new around here, make sure to get subscribed for more future RDL content.
Here we go then, the formation lap gets underway and the excitement here is building as we near ever closer to the start of the race. Which team will come out on top? Who's got their strategies right for today's race? Well, we'll soon find out.
There's your starting tyres then under the lights here in Monaco. Hard tyres for the majority of the field. We've got about 6 cars going onto the medium to start this Grand Prix off. Emery on the front row, Grumio alongside him.
So as all the cars reform the grids, the drivers will be hoping to get a strong start. They'll want to earn some valuable points from today's race, with final communications being done with their race engineers, ensuring the planned strategies are all in place.
So we go now up to the grid. Emery running a special Ayrton Senna tribute helmet called Senna, 5-time winner around here in Monaco. Grumio joined him, the reigning champion of both the series and this race. This guy's gearing up for what could be possibly the toughest races they've ever run in this game. And you wonder how many cars let's talk about the checker flag. But we're 78 laps away from crowning a winner of perhaps the most important RDL Monaco Grand Prix today. 2 fast charges on the front row. Here come the lights for the Monaco Grand Prix. Round 8 of the championship, the second 100% race of the season. Emery's jumped the start. And that will be costly for him. He leads the way to turn 1. Dominant getaway, but just went a bit too soon on the early going here. Everyone looks to be getting through nice and clean here. No major issues any further back. Emery leads, Grumio leads, Cott leads, Pope leads, Chain. That's your top 5. Everyone further back. How is everyone doing back here? No damage from what I can see. Looks like everyone's going nice and clean. It's all single file as Emery leads them down towards turns 5 and 6. But crucially, a jump start, and he will be kicking himself for that. After doing such a good job in qualifying, he's now going to be left with all to do in this Grand Prix. Of course, track position, so crucial. Yellow flags are out already. It's just everyone goes slow for the hairpin. No issues anywhere else. So that means that Grumio will likely nab the early lead in the end of this first lap. We'll see when Emery chooses to make that stop. Because he has to do it in the next few laps or so, otherwise risking disqualification. But an error that could prove costly over the course of this Grand Prix. Will we see him come in this time? I imagine we will. He stays out. So stays in the circuit this time. Any takers to the pit lane this time around. DRS is enabled. Grumio with the fastest lap of the race. Well, it's 16.442. No takers to the pits. We go clean first lap. See Pope there looking around trying to make an opening around Cott. Keep very good eyes out, ladies and gentlemen, for damage on these race cars. I can't think of a place where damage is more costly than it is here in Monaco. Mercedes cars off the pace there. Of course, drivers need to be completing around sort of 72, 73 laps this race before they can claim points, thanks to the 90% rule. Grumio and Emery by far the fastest cars. Those two pulling away here to about 2 seconds of a Cott in 3rd place, Pope in 4th. Shay 5th, Dan 6th, Webby 7th, Ethan 8th, Curtis 9th, and 10th Cameron in your top 10. We'll see if Emery takes the opportunity this time. In he comes. So Grumio then will be left to his own devices in front. costly error for Imrie this early on in this Grand Prix. But there's still 76 laps of work to do. Plenty of time to get those places back. The key here is to be as calm and as collected as you can. He will emerge back onto the racetrack in P17 here, in front of Flying Duck and the two Mercedes cars. So Grumio up front that leads him on lap 3. Pope in second place for about 3.5 seconds back from the leader. He's got Cott and both Ferraris breathing down his neck right now as they go into turn 6. And Webb sees that little scrap there. He's running in the 6th spot. You can see Curtis looking to make a move. Ethan's trying to make a move on Curtis going out of turns 6 and 7. Looks like an end plate off of Ben's car already. On the right side of the machine. We'll have a look here. Yes, that car is in fact missing an end plate this early on. So I see a lot of those over the course tonight. Albar struggling further back as well. Imrie now right on his tail. And wanting to get that move done quickly. Grumio again being left to it out front. Of course, patience will be a virtue in a race such as this one. Ben into the pit lane then to prepare that end plate. Imrie getting to work. He's going to look to the inside going towards turn 1. P15 in his possession now. He's getting places off both McLarens thanks to Ben pitting. Continuing on his way up towards this train. The first of which on his set list will be 18, Aston Martin. And EJ leads that train to the last car outside of the points. The top 10 are all more or less keeping to themselves right now. Grumio 3.6 in front of Pope. You have to Pope to try and keep the gap to the race leader as much as you can. Of course, Pope a former winner here himself. Last victory back in season 15. Caught in 3rd place. Of course, still also looking for his first win of the season. Went winless in season 17 of the RDL, and looking to get himself back on the top step of the rostrum for the first time in almost a calendar year in this league. Pope with the fastest lap on the medium tyre there, that's 1 minute 12.013. In terms of position change so far, the driver has gained the most, it's a tie right now between JB and Courtney, both gained 3 places each. Imrie has lost 14. In terms of tyres, there are your starting tyres this race. Of course, Ben has made an early change, as have. No, apologies. Ben's the only one who's made a stop as of yet. Imrie came in obviously, but didn't change tyres. He was just returning a drive-through. It's the hard tyre. Grumio who leads the way. And Pope will be focusing on himself, trying to hunt him down. He's pulled away from Cott. He's got 2 seconds on the Williams driver here. I'll leave both Ferraris to start breathing down his neck. But it's been a very clean race for the most part so far. Imrie passing 18 now on the left hand side, going down into turn 11. So turns 10, 11 rather. Kicking out the barrier, the exit, going down towards 12. Might have tapped the barrier slightly, but gets away with it. No damage done to that car. EJ lead the front of this train, but JB on the medium tyres, chasing him down as they go into turn 1. So on lap 6, this thing's flying by already. Big lock up from one of the cars in front here. Got locking up through turn 6. Look at this, both Che and Dan, the two Constructors' Championship leaders, putting the Williams driver under immense pressure. Of course, Williams P4 in the Constructors' Championship, caught in 10th place in the drivers with 34 points. Only 3 points of his teammate. Of course, it's tied with 10th Cannon for the next space in the championship in P9. Looks like Pope is starting to work a little bit on closing Grumio's advantages. He's got it down to within 3 seconds for the first time today. And there he is, fastest lap, Pope on 1 minute 11.6. Any takers to the pits? Nothing as of yet. Imrie on the tail of Cockney Goblin in the Red Bull. Off the corner, DRS being played for all three of these guys. But EJ has pulled enough of an advantage here going to turn 1 for JB to not be a threat to him for the time being. Around the tail of Cot there. Close to contact going down towards turn 10. They'll stay in line. Dan's falling off a little bit, falling back a little bit compared to his teammate, the Williams in front. Ethan making the pass on Curtis for P7. Curtis is now in the Salba sandwich with PJ just behind. So never mind a PB and J, we've all got a PJ and E. Cot now passing Che, or holding on to the third spot rather. Those two went out down the main straight. DRS, of course, in play. The one DRS on the circuit going out of turn 19 up towards turn 1. But blocking up at turn 5. But Grumio again commanding these right now on those hard tyres. But of course, even a race where you're just driving by yourself like this can be mentally taxing. Still 70 laps to go in this race. Long way to go. Up front, Curtis and go back around Ethan. This could be a rather interesting duel for position. Of course, Alpine and Salva 5th and 6th in the championship. Curtis with 16 points was named from this campaign. This will put him. This will give him another 6th stands. That'll put him close to his teammate, just 3 points behind his teammate JB, who's sitting in P12 towards the end of this train. On to lap 9 for these guys just outside of the points. It's EJ in control of P11. But struggling to close in on 10th Cannon, who holds on to that last points paying pace. EJ about 1.8 seconds behind. And Pope starting to close that gap down. Get down to 2.4 on the racetrack. I should imagine still be a bit of time before we see these guys coming in for their first pit stops this race. Dan almost falling out of BRS range with his teammate here, and perhaps could fall under pressure from Webbsy in the next few laps, but Webbsy about 2 seconds behind the Ferrari at this point. Che more focused on trying to get around Cot focused on keeping Che at bay. And right now, Cot's getting good enough exits off of turn 19 to prevent any moves actually being made. Stuck behind the Red Bull of Cockney Goblin right now. Of course, I imagine heartbreaking for the Pulsar to have to deal with that so early on in the race, practically from when the lights went out. But sometimes in racing, those situations, you've got to make do with what you got. So we'll see if we're able to work himself up towards the front again. It may all come down to tyre strategy. Should we get a safety car or anything like that? And if not, just keeping your car under control. Well, so far, everyone's done a solid job of that. Ben, the only car has to actually make a pit stop for tyres. And PJ Keller gets the first 3 seconds of the night. Time for the first penalty. That will be for multiple warnings. So track limits in play. Imrie on the outside of Cockney Goblin there. Avoiding that wall just in terms of hitting it any harder. Is that it? Is that an end plate loss? No, it's not. The car continues to be all okay. It's P13 now, but Imrie 2 seconds back from JB. We'll see how quickly he closes that in. There's extreme pace in the back of that Haas. close to Grumio. Grumio will continue to keep the Haas at bay, knowing that perhaps the fast one of the two tonight going in terms of qualifying is currently 12 spots behind, or to be exact, about 26 seconds. Also on those hard tyres. Siske making the pass on Flying Duck. That'll move the Mercedes driver into P17. Bit of damage there on Duck's car. Looks like nameplate losses. You can see the damage on that wing. Oh! Another tap there, but I think his nameplate's all okay. Yes, it is. So he's almost at risk of losing the other one too. Obsessed 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. So track limit's starting to hit here. Imri on the tail of JB in the Alpine. Towards turn 6. Oh, we've got a car in the pit lane. That's Flying Duck making the change of front wing. Maybe just go a lap down if it's unlucky. I think it should be alright. But may emerge just in front or around Grumio. Grumio will put the lap behind now. There is emerged from the pit lane, and Pope just get out in front of him too. So Pope bringing that gap down now. The gap's down to 1.6 seconds on the racetrack. This could be interesting to see what Pope can do. Should he try and challenge Grumio for the race lead? But Grumio's struggling here. Is there any damage on that race car? He's slowing massively here. Is perhaps a loss of time? I know any punctures on the race car. Of course, hanging on to that wall for too long can do significant damage to your tyres. Could that be what's happened here? Is there a mistake perhaps you haven't picked up from Grumio? We'll see if he comes to the pits. Pope is now right on his tail and will be in DRS range when he comes down the main straight. His teammate's still busy chasing JB. Flying Duck struggling here. Duck reserve Yogolu tonight. JB penalty. And Charles continues. They moves to the outside. I think he's looking at them. JB's covered him off quite nicely. That train, those two trains have come together now. Curtis leading that train to P7. Get back up to 1.1 seconds now. Cox about 8 seconds behind. He's still keeping Che at bay, and Dan about a second back from these two in 5th. So more or less as you were for the last 5 or 6 laps or so, except for Pope chasing Grumio for the top spot. It's about 15 now Grand Prix. We'll see if that battle escalates at all. Yellow flag, that's Alvar out. And the virtual safety car's been deployed for the first time. Alvar, who's come the first retirement, finds his end in between turns 10 and 11. Be the first car at this Grand Prix. Just a VSC, no full safety car. 18 with a 10-second penalty for collision with Cockney Goblin. Cuts me into the pit lane here. Both making the change without too much drama. I'm back out on the circuit. Just waiting down that green flag to get us back on the way. Mr. Valvar has been cleared. There we go, green flag goes back in the air. Giles continues to poke then, who continues to try and hunt down Grumio. Further back, Curtis leads his entire train from P7 all the way down to P13. Imrie still set behind JB. Ooh! Bit of contact there, might be damage potentially. Both cars is a bit okay, we'll see if there's any difference in how they drive. EJ the penalty there. Look at that. 6 drivers of the 19 in this race. Now with some sort of disciplinary measure against them. So the training snakes their way through 6, 7 and 8. Che keeping close to Scott here, but not close to go for the move just yet. Oh. Got quite a bit of slightly squirrely exit out of turn 18. Che to the outside, turn 1. That's for 3rd place. Cott holds him off turn 1, but Che pulling back alongside, can't do it. Cott stays in 3rd. It's been a remarkably hard fought endeavour for these guys so far. Yellow flag again. That would be right A moving out of the way for Grumio and Pope. I was looking for a move for a second there on EJ. Oh, bit. With Archie between the two Sabers, Ethan and PJ. Start from Cock coming out of turn 4. I'll keep Che in the picture. Flying duck penalty. Just behind Red J for now. About 14 seconds back from Seth Gamer, who runs in P17. Che holding on to P4 over down from there. Down there made a brief move, but Che thinking better of it. Of course, Che being on the podium is big for the championship leader Grumio, who sits P1 at the moment. Getting a solid 17 points. Cost still holding off Che. So we are nearing what normally would be the halfway stage of this race. In this case, it's only the quarter stage of this Grand Prix. We're in the pit lane here. is the damage on that car. Yellow flags out. Change on set medium tyres. So sort of coming together up in turn 6. Not sure who that involves. Oh! That's not going to involve anyone, it just involves flying duck. More or less half the front wing on. Oh, big slide there, going towards turn 10. Sure, that's where, of course, that's where we lost Alvar. So a few laps to go, I'm sure that Duck could not actually be the second retirement from this race. Imagine we'll stop this time, just get himself onto some new set of tyres and change that wing. So Imre in P13 here, which is more or less, well, isn't really considered a free pit stop per se, but has not any places. Still 80 there. It's around JB, so when JB comes in, no doubt he'll take P13 away. But Imre, one of the first few cars to actually make a proper stop in this race. So he'll be hoping the medium tyres can help push him slightly back up towards the top 10. So we're a quarter of the way into this Grand Prix. Grumio still leads Pope, this time they get back up to 3 seconds. And Grumio in complete control with 68 laps to go. This train in the mid-pack continues on. Curtis unable to get away from the two Saubers right now. But of course, both those cars with penalties. 10th in the middle with that one. Yellow flag flying for Flying Duck. Oh! And a slide there. And Obsessed able to stop in time. Oh! And Duck backing up into the leader. And was that Grumio? It was Grumio! And Pope with a 3-second penalty there for having to gut across the track to avoid making contact with Flying Duck. Did Grumio take damage from that? He did. It's an end plate missing off the race leader's car. And Flying Duck retiring. Has he crashed? Is that it? VSC deployed again. Oh, it looks like Dan's in some kind of stoppage as well. But what happened to Flying Duck? Grumio glitching back onto the racetrack. Oh no, back in the pit lane now. Looks to be all okay. Both cars coming in here. Grumio didn't repair that wing. DRS re-enabled. Grumio back on the circuit, but didn't change that front wing crucially. Could this hand things over to Pope? What just happened there in Monaco? But Flying Duck now out of the race between the second retirement of this evening. Caught in the pit lane here. Onto a fresh set of medium tyres. And that train being led by the Curtis train continues to keep on pushing forward. They now house the last point scorers in the field. In that, while that was going on, Imre set the fastest lap. Very close there, close to a skirmish with the barriers. But is Grumio struggling right now? He doesn't look to be. Hopefully looking to try and close in, looking to try and capitalise on that bit of damage on the car. So Grumio will be just be naturally slower as a result. 1 minute 15.6 his last lap. And Pope will need to use those slightly faster corners in an effort to try and close up. And at the very least get himself into permanent DRS range of our race leader. He's been the leader since end of lap 2. He's had 21 laps this race so far. Well, the pulses are still continuing on. Imri there in the 13th place. But of course, I haven't made it stop, so it should gain a fair bit of time. But the gap to the leader for him right now, he says he's at the fastest lap, will be 34.1 seconds. So he's actually further back than he was when he checked earlier, but of course, having made that first pit stop.
Grimmy having also pitted, but may have to stop again. That end plate may stand to cause a lot of problems. Yellow flag, and that looks to be Cott. Cott's gone around. Oh, and there goes the rest of the front wing. Just be careful here because we've got a number of cars coming out of turn from before. Yes, there they go, nice and clean all through, okay. And that could have been disastrous for those two cars for Cotley Goblin and for AT. That'll put another spot. On to lap 24 of this thing. It's still Pope chasing Grumio. The gap just over a second. It's going to close in to within a second through turn 6, but that gap goes up again through 7, 8. Shay and Dan separate themselves a bit more now. We've seen P5 by himself. Curtis still leading that train, the two Saubers in 10th and the EJ. Bit back to JB, who's now been caught by Imri. Of course, JB hasn't made a stop yet, but Imri has. And he's closing that entire gap. And the last thing he wants is to be stuck behind the Alpine for any longer than he was the first time round. Caught back in the pit lane here, Frotman going onto that car, and a set of medium tyres going on too. He's away. Pope, for the first time tonight, is in DRS range and will get a first launch at Grimmer with the DRS to his possession as he goes to turn 1. It's crucial he maintains that to keep himself close. Caught 10 seconds crossing the pit lane exit white line. An 18 3-second penalty for multiple warnings too. 9 drivers of the 18 still in this race. It's half the pack who have got track limit penalties. Pope obviously one of them, but I imagine the stewards will have a look at that, double check it. As JB gets past by Emery now for P11. Right there behind. DRS in play now. Going on to lap 26 at this Monaco Grand Prix. Closing on Grimio, but wasn't close enough that time to go for moving to turn 1. So keep his position behind. Yellow flag, and that is one of the McLarens. As Ben has got puncture. And he's in the middle of the track there. He's has to get out of the way quickly. And Cott's out. Cott retiring from the Grand Prix in the pit lane, to my mind. And Ben's going to need to get out of the way fast. This could be trouble. Oh, around he goes. Oh, there goes Grimio's wing. Ben resets. Pope gets away. I think Pope's also got damage. But Ben with that puncture was trying to get out of the way, and this could be trouble. Look at that. Look at that McLaren. Really struggling here. Practically balancing on that one wheel. And Pope now takes the lead. Grimio with no wing on that race car. Pope, fortunate things have only lost the end plate and not the entire race going up behind the two cars. Oh, and that is Ethan, who's had a bit of a stall there on the I dare say, I've never seen that before. Ethan managing to get himself stuck on the middle of the curb. He got himself stuck on the what's it called? The lining there. No clue what just happened. Grimio fresh wing change, going back on the racetrack now. Now to P5. Pope with that end plate will continue on for now. But Ferrari's here in position to try and take advantage.
Imri in the pit lane. Not sure if he's picked up damage or if he's got something else going on. Yes, he has. Wing change. He's lost both end plates in that car. He's going back on. Shea 3 seconds. Imri onto soft tyres now. He's getting back to work. Now down to P15 in this race. That's his second stop of the Grand Prix. On soft tyres, see how much progress he makes now. So Pope then leads the way on lap 28. He's almost 6 seconds in front of Che, who's in turn 2 in front of Dan. Got 4 cars at this race now. So Ben is out, Cott's out, Flying Duck and Alvar all seeing into their races here. Kurt's holding off PJ, but this has been consistent throughout the Grand Prix. Yellow flag on the main straight. Red Day let a few cars go. Imri closing on Obsessed Gamer. .60 laps to go. So 10th Cannon has caught both PJ and Curtis here. She's been in that train for a little while. Yellow flag up at the hairpin. That's Reg's. That's some sort of problem. Reg a lap down at this point. It's maybe actually a few laps down. Moving out of the way for his teammate and for Imri to go through. Grimmy 1 minute 10.6 on those medium tyres. Of course, Imri on the soft. Let's see if he can match that. But for now, he's stuck in behind Obsessed Gamer. The last corner. Imri to the outside, and Mercedes car going towards turn 1 makes the pass. That's P14. As of right now, he sits a total of about a minute back from the race lead, being held by his teammate. That's put across line, start lap 30. A lock up there from Pope going into turn 6, but keeping the car under wraps for the most part. There's Grumio in P5, must have made his pit stop onto those medium tyres after the collision with Ben. So he's still in a fairly good position. So they've made 2 stops in this Grand Prix now. So things have not gone particularly well in the last few laps for the front row starters. It's now Pope in the lead. He started in behind those guys. They're working on closing the gap to Courtney Goblin. You think holding him off? No end plate on that Sauber, or no end plate on the right side of that Sauber. That's turn 5. Looking to try to get around Ethan. He's still looking for his first points of the season. Everyone's only points so far as campaign courtesy of 10th Cannon and P9 in the championship. Makes the move on the Sauber going towards turn 10. Imri behind those guys. outside there. Can't do it. Stays behind even for the minute. Everyone quite spaced out a minute, except for this train here. Cars is leading PJ 10th, EJ, JB a bit further back, and it's AT, Cockney Goblin, Ethan Imrie. But Curtis has been running this train since very early on in this Grand Prix. A great job of it so far. Going to be making the pass away to 4th place going into turn 1. Careful to keep out that barrier. Wait, see no damage in that car from what I can see here. At least we need the car. Going to go in 3 seconds. We're going to move down the main straight here, potentially position. So at this point, we're not particularly any further along to who's going to win this race. Poe's made his stop, he's in the lead. We haven't made that first stop. Technically doesn't need to stop again. Neither Ferrari coming to the pit lane. But 10 out of the 20 cars starting this race are yet to stop. In terms of the car still in the race, because Alvar didn't make a stop, but he retired from the race quite early on. PJ Callum time penalty there for multiple warnings. And that could be a concern for the Sauber team there. In terms of penalties so far, let's have a look at those. 9 seconds for PJ, 80 got the most of 13. And Callum practically pushing him through there. And Imrie with a penalty for the first time tonight. Trying to get around Courtney Goblins, who's sat there behind that Red Bull for a lap or two now. And the main thing here is to ensure desperation doesn't start to creep in for those guys. They all run nose to tail. AT, Courtney Imrie. Let's across the line, start lap 34. Nearing the halfway stage of this Monaco Grand Prix. A lot of racing still to be done. Teams continue to look up for Ferrari in the Constructors' Championship as it stands that they'll increase their lead over RB. Well, I think that goes without saying, unless both of them have finished outside of the top 5. Both of them have been serious podium contenders all day long and looking to continue that job as they've done so far in the first half of this Grand Prix. I'm sure I'd love to try and close in on Pope. We're in 4th, about 6 seconds back from down right now. And here comes a bit of rain, and that should spice things up a fair bit. And could we get a wet second half of this Monaco Grand Prix? The rain starts to fall quite quickly here. And we'll see how long it takes for the track to get fully wet. Imrie might be the first to bite the bullet here. Changing on to the inters. No wing changes away. Good call. Did you make it too soon? Yellow flag. Everyone's okay. Dan's in the pit lane. Premier also in the pit lane. And DRS has been disabled. The rain falling awfully fast here. No standing water as of yet. 83 second time penalty there for corner cutting. You saw in the background. Perhaps my may have slid across turn 10. We've seen a few cars do tonight.
Curtis is pit lane now. So we'll see everyone who hasn't managed to come for intermediate tyres. There's not really much choice in the matter. Big slide there for Obsessed Gamer. Still on those 19 lap old mediums. Pope is in. It's back on the racetrack then. Nearing halfway. Everyone now on 17 medium tyres. Imri from that back into P6 now.
We're looking for pace in the wet. And this race all of a sudden becoming perhaps a bit more difficult for these guys. Grimio to third place now. Oh, attacked the outside wall. No loss of the end plate though, carry on. And Pope, who's still missing that right end plate, continues on the lead. Chase 7 seconds behind him coming into the hairpin as we speak. So in terms of the full order, as the rain starts to fall even harder on this circuit, one is being let go by, I think that's Red J, indeed it is. So Pope leads the way, followed by Che in second, Grumio now on the podium in third, now in fourth, Websy in fifth, it's Imre sixth, as Grumio gets a 3-second penalty there. Curtis 7th, PJ 8th, 10th Cannon 9th, and EJ in 10th. Curtis and PJ have been glued together since the start of this race, they continue as they are. Cotley Goblin 11th, is JB in 12th, Ethan 13th, AT 14th, and Tim Mercedes cars Obsessed and Red J 15th and 16th. Red J a few laps down at this point. And Pope's the inside of Cotley Goblin. And the rain falling here, spray starting to kick from the circuit. And the race perhaps getting a lot more difficult for some. Would it be a case of using those wet tyres? Grumio will hit the penalty. I put him on 3 seconds for the first time. Yellow flag is out. Look for one of the Mercedes cars. It looks like everyone's all okay. PJ's been locked to Curtis, but he's got the most penalties on the track with 12. AT has 6, and everyone else currently has 3. $40 laps still to go. Caught disconnecting there. Still holding on right now as Pope. Look at the spray being kicked up now. Is it perhaps, will the wet tyres be necessary? Will it stop raining? Will the track start drying at some point? Of course, the one bit of information the commentators don't get from the game, typically given to us by a driver in the race. Pope being let go though by EJ, who runs P10. Going back out into the rain here. Pope will be fixing to try and put 9th pace 10th Cannon followed by PJ and Curtis, so I can put more laps down. So yeah, see a safety car on this Grand Prix, so everyone's kept it clean in that regard. Of course, there's been a number of incidents over the first half of this Grand Prix. Still a long way to go. Here we go, the halfway mark. Emery in P6 starting out a little bit there. Holding on to the race car though. He's in consistently trying to fight the wheel, trying to fight his way back up towards the front. Of course, it has been almost 40 laps since that drive through at the start of the race. Here's Boston. And from pole 2, it's going to struggle for him so far, but he's back up towards the top 5 now and scoring points as it stands. He's made 3 stops, that's more than anyone in this Grand Prix, and he's still doing a fantastic job. Pope putting Ted Cannon a lap behind, and now working on closing the gap to Curtis and PJ. With 38 more laps to go. We've had there for Emery. Lap 41 about to get underway. Che, not really able to close that gap right now. He's still sitting there about 8 seconds back from Pope as he has been throughout the second stint. Brumio also made 3 stops in the score for outside Emery. Sorry, apologies, I missed him off. But I'm running in P3 right now. Of course, get involved with the McLaren with the punctures Ben earlier on in the race. Now costing him track position, had to pit for a fresh wing and a new set of tyres, and now continues on his way. So the same trainer, Curtis, still leading over PJ and then Ted Cannon. In terms of tyres, we're still looking at about 5 laps into this, of course, no real change there. A slight layer of spray being kicked up from the cars around each other. Ethan there keeping the car under wraps as it goes through the third sector. Blue flags for the back. That'll be for the Red Bull, I believe. Pope haven't dispatched these guys, but Che closing in on them now. Maybe letting the RB go. That'll be Grumio. So Pope right now in control of this race. The change onto wet tyres has helped him massively here. He's allowed him to maintain his advantage. Yellow flag up at turn 6. Obviously come to okay, no damage done. But Pope obviously took the lead, and from there the rain came down, everyone had to pit, so he's taking advantage of that, and it now sits with a commanding 8.5 second advantage. EJ letting his teammate through. Of course, one of 2 reserves in this Grand Prix going on, still running. The other one was, of course, Flying Duck. Second car of the Grand Prix. Definitely made its mark on the race leaders, that's for sure. In this race. Grumio has closed the gap to Che here. The gap's sitting at 4.4 seconds at the moment. Che midway through the tunnel here. Of course, the 100% race, definitely a different kind of challenge in this Grand Prix. PJ was looking for a move for a second on Grumio of all cars, and he's trying to get himself back around the RB as opposed to the other way around. Of course, 10th Cannon continues to keep him busy. EJ behind holding the last spot in the top 10. Oh, a slide there. Gets the car back up to speed again. He'll emerge with Dad just behind him. That's Courtney Goblin there with him. Courtney having closed that gap back down now. And JB not far behind him either. In terms of penalties, it's still just 3 seconds to the top 3. As it stands, Dan close another second or so, because it could tend to take third. Good points for Ferrari, that's for sure. Four laps to go. Pope in the lead. Right there behind the Ferrari. And Dan's disconnected. I shouldn't think he'd pit for any reason. Yellow flag up at turn 6 is one of the Mercedes cars. And that is Red J. No damage done to that car. Pope's coming through turn 6 and 7 now. Maybe set to put Red JV up 3 more laps down. So 16 cars still on the run in this race. We've done quite well here with just these 16. We've been retiring a good about 21, 22 laps ago at this point. Alvar last about 13 laps before his Grand Prix came to an early end. Of course, Flying Duck and Cotton both made their retirements. In addition to those two. Feel free to put down in the chat who we're thinking is going to win this thing. It's looking like Pope right now. Anything can still happen. A safety car could change the game entirely, and if that rain continues to get any heavier, or perhaps dry out, it'd be a case of who makes the transition onto the dry tyres for us. There's a lot of possibilities still to be coming in this Grand Prix. Long way to go. Grumio, of course, losing that lead. Still about 11 seconds back, 11 and a half right now. Doing a brilliant job of keeping on the podium. But right now, losing 3 points in the standings to Che. Checking the fastest lap currently belongs to Grumio, so that's only 2 points in the championship. And so you can make the move. 3 points that he gains. Courtney Goblin to take a penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Courtney in 11th right now, sitting right behind EJ in that little train. Curtis still holding on to 7th place. AT 3-second penalty. There's 5 cars still in this Grand Prix without anything to their name in terms of disciplinaries. Bit of slide there through turn 3 for Curtis, but keeping it under control. PJ still right behind, giving them trouble. These two have been by far away the best battle all evening. It's just still going on. They've been going for so long at this point. Yellow flag. That's one of the Mercedes cars. Hopefully letting one of them Red Bulls go. That rain definitely looks heavier, but is it heavy enough for the wet tyre? Wouldn't appear so yet, but of course a lot more room for error. Although a lot less room for error with the rain falling as it is. Pop down towards turn 5. Currently got him passing EJ here, the last point to pay him. Both got a scrap on for the last point. JB and Ethan right behind these guys. Keep an eye on this fight. JB might try and get involved. Thought he was trying to the inside of EJ for a second there. It's going to allow AT into the picture. Hope still with the strength under control. Do we see at any point a change onto perhaps another set of intermediate tyres? PJK with a penalty. Still just 5 drivers that one. Highest one of those guys being Dan. JB another one. AT passing Ethan now. Has he even got damage? He might do. No, he's all good. In the final 30 laps now. Big slide there from Pope on corner X out of turn 11. Look how hard that rain is hitting now. Just getting heavier and heavier at this point. Wait to see if there'll be any change in terms of tyres soon. Action continues here in Monaco. We're still waiting on perhaps another stop in this race. Yellow flag allowing Red J through again. In that, 10th can get around PJ. And can 10th can get to work perhaps on making the move on Curtis, who's been stuck in that spot outside of the top 6 all day long. To 50 laps, maybe losing it. Hope, of course, the last Monaco Grand Prix he won was back in season 15 as a reserve with the Haas team, looking to go and do the same thing today. Of course, didn't compete season 16, competed last season but struggled. I believe managed to get a podium in the end. But this season looks to be on course for the win. He is just 28 laps away from doing just that. Grimio has now caught Che in the race for second. Of course, with the same amount of penalties, it's game on for the pair of them. They know what's at stake now. Pope still that missing end plate. It's a beautiful sight seeing the rain here at Monaco. It's almost like a artistic film scene, if I had to put it lightly. They're still about a minute back from the lead right now. Next car to be put a lap back by the race leader. Grimio still looking for a way around Che. Of course, this is for championship points, these guys, so they know what's at stake. Che looking to try and close that lead, Grimio looking to try and expand it. And both of them still with 3 seconds each. Yellow flag. We'll know what it is by now. No retirements from the last about 30-40 laps or so. So as the race continues on, I'll show you back in just a moment. So it's still all Pope then right now. Grimio is still behind Che. That's about another 25 seconds back to Dan. Dan rejoining. Those connection issues. Looking to fix themselves. Websy sliding there through turn 1. Dan is all by himself right now in P3. Sorry, in P4. Set for podium if something goes wrong for one of these cars in front. We hope that his teammate Che can keep Grimio behind. But 30 seconds back, I shouldn't imagine he'll be improving his position much on that. Imri, 11 seconds right now behind Websy. Again, still the same 5 drivers, so haven't got a penalty yet. Those drivers being Dan, then Websy, Curtis, 10th, and Red J. And Grimio pitting here. So change being made. So will that be for another set? So likely this will be the last stop. Is this for another set of inters? It is. So a fresh set of inters on the race car. And he is away. Ethan 3 seconds, multiple warnings. Ethan down in P14 right now. And Dan out. Retire from the race. retired the car, but still going. Not sure what's happened to the Ferrari there. The car's still moving. Might as well put it up to the side. That'll be race over for him. See if we can get a closer look for down here. There's someone. Not sure what that was. I might as well we'll get confirmation from Dan shortly. But the race would have lasted. Websy penalty for ignoring yellow flags. Oh, slide there. Going towards turn 5. Keeps it on the wraps just, but that was a scary moment from Websy. Very close. Because that could have been off into the barriers and game over for him. So now just 3 drivers that penalties. Those drivers being Curtis, 10th, and Red J. See 10th looking around trying to make a move here. PJ has finally been dispatched by the Red Bull, and 10th is working on getting Curtis out of the way. Look for P7 in this race. So P6 when these guys come back around. There it is. Almost on the mark, but of course they haven't actually passed that where Dan is yet. But very unfortunate for Dan. Not sure what actually happened to him there. Puts us down to 15 cars still in this race. We're still 3/4 of the field on course to finish right now. Che still 8 seconds back from Pope. Yellow flag. That was Red J. Sorry, that was a success game by letting Pope through. Both players' cars are lapped down. Grimmy on the fresh enters. What's the game plan for everyone else coming to the pit lane? Pope stays out. Will Che stay out too? How long can they make those inters last? Of course, they want to. If they're going to carry on, they're going to do it without causing themselves damage. We'll see that big 10 seconds now. Imri knows we can close in to within 7 of what's the P4 for him. And from there we'll look to try and close down and get Grumio back to try and put Haas on the podium. If I check the results here from the first 7 races of the season, Imri looking for podium number 3. He's taken 2 already this season, 1 in Jeddah and 1 in Japan. Both from 3rd place finishes. Of course, Pope, just the 1 podium from Australia, looking for his first win of the season, and on course to do it right now. Anything can still happen. He's done remarkably well keeping his car under control though. As he has time to make a pit stop. He's going to stay out on the racetrack. So I got word now what happened to Dan. So when Dan reconnected to the session, he was unable to reconnect to his car. Wasn't able to retake control. And as a result, none of them was to retire it. AT sliding there. Got JB right behind him. And EJ, Ethan. Everyone all together here. And these guys are all fighting for order in the race. So this is Curtis right now. Imri's in there too. Really unsure in terms of positioning here. Imri trying to navigate around EJ now. Around him, up and up and up. And moving up. Imri's in P5, but Websy is. Obviously, these guys are all laps down. But that big train save for Imri in the middle of it is full position. And 10th darting around trying to make a move on Curtis. We've got to be careful in these conditions. It's been a remarkable race so far. Prop 7 keeping it going. We're still just over 20 laps to go. Blue flags in effect. That'll be for JB. Let Imri go. Imri needs to navigate all these guys to stand a chance at taking Mubsy, who's currently going out of turn number 7. outside there of PJ. PJ backing off. He's looking to get damage in that car. End plate missing on the side of that Sauber. Yeah, his teammate goes to perhaps. Yep, who was? So Ethan's P12. PJ down to P13. And Tank Cannon still struggling to take a move here. Blue flags in place for both these two cars here, so pretty much like getting away for Imrie. Imrie 5 seconds back now from Websy. In range to try and claim that 4th spot in this Grand Prix. 10th letting Imrie go. And Curtis only to let Imrie go too. Most likely in the exit of turn 4. It's here. Oh! Bit of contact there. And Curtis did not move out of the way from Imrie at all there. Pope then onto lap, is on lap 59 of this Grand Prix. He did it all to himself. The gap down to 9 seconds. And knows with both Che and Grumio having penalties behind him, he's safe. Grumio having to work that gap back up at the minute. I'm thinking that we'll probably see Che and Pope try and stay on those tyres to the end of the Grand Prix, just to save making another stop and losing track position to the RB driver. He just made his change onto new 70s. And then I get a time penalty too. Will we see anyone make another pit stop? 19 laps to go. Just going in the pit lane here. Fresh events going on. So we can lock him up a bit there. Still keep him right behind Curtis at the minute. Curtis, he's in one of the stand-up performances today. He's managed to keep himself going so consistently across this Grand Prix, maintaining the pace. There's a reason he's held 6th place, because no one in the midfield has been able to challenge him. Really challenge him. I think perhaps it's PJ. But PJ obviously pitted a few laps ago. And that brings us to the end of that wonderful battle. There's Chain, 9 seconds behind Pope right now. Imrie pitting. And so Vince is going on, and he's away. No risk of losing a place, but we'll go a lap down to his teammate. Let's Pope back on the racetrack. I'm sure if Imrie can't win, I'm sure he'd like one of the 2 Haas cars to take victory. They're yet to win all season. Their best finish being 3rd. Pope, of course, struggled in the first 2 races of the season. 15th in Bahrain, 15th in Saudi Arabia. That 3rd place kick-started the season, but from there finishes a 4th, 6th and 6th across China. Sorry, across Japan, China and Miami. Didn't start last week's race at Imola. Had problems with his game, and I believe he's been dealing with problems with his wheel over the course of the evening. Or at least prior to the race, there was every risk of accident going wrong for him. Things go wrong for him, but automatically then hand the lead to Che in 2nd place. Che, who to my memory has won Monaco before himself. Imrie now still P5 and just following Pope round in formation. No safety car so far in this Grand Prix. Just 2 VSCs, but no full safety car. Pope letting Imrie go there. Oh, that's normally be the other way around, but Imrie now setting off to try and chase down Websey for 4th place. 20 seconds back from him there. As that rain continues to fall. The Haas sliding across the circuit there. What a race it's been. Big train of cars Imrie will need to once again navigate to get through up to Curtis in P6. That train goes from P6 down to P12. So that's 7 cars. He's got to make moves on. Websey by himself, Grumio by himself, Che in second, and Pope now watching his teammate. But crucially, losing a bit. Pope lost a bit of time to Che there. And at what point does Grumio trying to take hold pace-wise? Only 16 laps to go. At this rate, he'd need to gain about a second a lap on Pope in order to stand a chance of winning this race. The only 3 cars within a minute of Pope. It's been a calm race for the Haas driver up front since the early collision with Ben and with Grumio. Pope is well and truly locked in and is on course to win this thing with 16 laps to go when he crosses the line. Slide there out of turn number 1. Imrie behind this train here. So Imrie now among those guys. Of course, they'll need to let Pope go through. Che closing that gap down now. The gap down to 7 seconds. Grumio 14.7 behind. Saying Pope catching these cars will, obviously cause that lead to close a little bit. Fighting here, AT and EJ going for the last points. And going to go in the pit lane here. Counted to serve first, and tyres going on. Intermediate tyres get to the end of the Grand Prix on. Got back on the racetrack in P13 here. Pope in the middle of this train. 6.7 the gap. Grumio's starting to get to work here though. He's starting to close the gap a fair bit more. A fair bit. That gap is now down to 12.9 seconds to Pope. We've got 12.7. Things could get interesting towards the end of this Grand Prix. But of course, Che will need to catch and successfully dispatch of at least 3 cars at this point. Those cars being Ethan, EJ, and then AT. Who will get a chance to take on Pope. But those cars should move out of the way for him. And Pope will try and get around JB too. There goes Pope going through. On to lap 65, 14 more laps. Curtis and Imrie side by side. Imrie jumping in front because Imrie is in front regardless. There goes 10th. Looking for the spot. Close to it, and 10th hits the wall. End play gone on that Red Bull. Could that be the end of 10th's chances at points in this race? Regardless, he's got to let Pope go. Pope gets through. Sneaks inside. And Pope now needs to dispatch Curtis quickly too. The only car to get around the Alpine without much of a fight today. Yeah, and he gets towards the end of the train as Che Reaches hidden a bit, but Grimio closing in faster to Che than Che is the Pope. Pope now around the train. And Ethan is Che's first target. Pope now knows he's got through his train. He needs to get through. He's trying to get away as much as he can. Try and rebuild that lead. And Grimio will start closing on these guys too. Already around Ethan. EJ now the next target. EJ letting Che go. Blue flags in effect. 13 more laps. Pope is in control. But as the closer the gap has been throughout this entire second set, look at that. 30 to 30 and 31 laps being done on those tyres. Grimio's Inters are 18 laps younger than Pope's and 19 laps younger than Che's. Imri 16.2 seconds behind Websy right now and gaining by almost a 10th second. Okay, steady progress behind the wheel there. Grimio now catching up to the end of the train. Ethan is the next target. Che has only got Curtis in front of him, so Che through that train quite quickly. He can spot from out the way as well. So Che, the gap now sits at 5 seconds. There's nothing separating him from Pope, and the race is well and truly on. And I think once Grimio gets through these guys as well, then he'll be involved in this one. It might be another lap or so if we can get through all of them. His teammate for tonight, EJ, is right there in front of him. Now see AT. Oh, contact! Grimio moving EJ out of the way there. Lucky not to do any damage to his front wing. AT lifting here. Pope goes Grimio around the outside. It's then JB 10th and then Curtis to go. Che 5.2 behind Pope right now. Grimio 3.8 behind Che. And Grimio catching these guys, perhaps a slightly poorer time. What a race it's been. But Che now is always do now. So let's close on that 5-second gap. Around 1, around 2 now. So no lapped cars separating the three leaders for at least the remainder of this Grand Prix. Slide from Pope there, lap 68 now. We're nearing the final 10 laps here in Monaco. Now, of course, Imri in P5, thanks to that penalty for Websy being 10 seconds, doesn't need to close all the way in. Only needs to close to within 7 seconds. Right now he's earthen back and he's been gaining significantly in the last couple of laps or so. So at this pace he could still do it. He could still get himself back into P4. But it's in about another minute up the road to Grumio in P3. So he needs to hope that something goes wrong with one of these three cars, and preferably not his teammate in his case. Grumio closing on Che now. And if Grumio can get around Che and then catch Pope, this could be a very entertaining finish indeed. Lap 69. We're into the final 10 laps of this Monaco Grand Prix, and 3 cars stand a chance to win this thing, all separated by about 6 or 7 seconds. It's the closest the top 3 have been since the opening stint. Pope and Chase still just the one stops in this Grand Prix. Sorry, no, Pope's made 2 stops. Chase made just the 1. Grumio with 4 stops in this thing. Grumio and Imrie have particularly impressive races clawing it back. But it's all Pope up front. And that rain has fallen relentless here. Yellow flag. That's AT who's gone off. Damage done to that Aston Martin's end plate on the front wing. He gets away nice and clean. Imrie, second penalty. Just adding insult to injury for poor Imrie, who's currently sitting in the 5th spot after starting on pole. That jump start really cost him on the getaway, and from there he's been fighting his way back. It's been a valiant effort, but these 3 in particular have been just the fastest of class to the field today. So these 3 cars, Chase has been running second fiddle all day to either one of them. Has yet to outright lead this race himself. And Grumio now closing to almost win in a second. I don't think he will. It's more or less a guaranteed podium finish for him. And they're a few laps away from guaranteeing points. It's Pope right now picking up 25. Grumio close to Che now within 1 second. Of course, no DRS at this point. He has to rely on speed to get around him. 80 in the pit lane now. Fresh into swing on that car. Pope trying not to concern himself with the charging RB behind him. He's got to hold him for 8 more laps. He's had a I wouldn't say he's had a pleasure cruise like by any means, despite the fact that he's been by himself for the majority of the Grand Prix, at least for the second half. But Pope starting at lap 71 now, and Grumio on the tail of Che. And we'll need a particularly good run out of one of these corners to make the Ferrari pay. And Che right now still looking at the penalty wise, it's still the same. The 2 championship leaders. Grumio in front of Che by 8, and down the inside! Contact between the pair of them. Side by side, Grumio gets in front. And that could have been so much worse had they come together at the wrong angle for any reason whatsoever. Once again, sparks flying between these 2 great drivers in the 100% race. Ethan, fresh inters on that car. He's away. And now the work begins for Grumio. Pope's tyres have double the wear that his do. Pope can just control this race from here. He's got 7 more laps to go. Grumio's got to close that gap down. He's got to close 5 seconds in 7 laps in these conditions. And hope he doesn't get a penalty. And Pope would look to do the same, looking to avoid getting a penalty of any kind. Blue flags there. Pope going through. 7 more laps. Che couldn't keep Grumio at bay. He's on for 3rd place right now. Meanwhile, Imrie has caught Websy. He's just 1.8 seconds behind him. There he is. Imrie has been truly still one of the best drivers here this afternoon. Or this evening, rather. Done a remarkable job coming back from the drive-thru. I think he'll still be proud of himself for the performance here. In a race, only 3 cars okay, end up finishing on the lead lap. And there is Grumio. It was not led for a fair bit. It's Grand Prix, man goes Pope! Oh, contact! Grumio goes sliding. Che alongside him now. Grumio squeezing Che towards the wall. Che May need a last ditch effort of some kind to get himself in front of Grumio here. But Pope around. Oh, there he goes again. Contact. And taking the Mercedes of Red J with him. Pope backing up. Just careful not to get in the way of these guys here. Any damage done to those two cars? Not sure. But Pope now look like it would be P3 for him. As he pulls the car over to let the guys go through. Well. What could have been the race win for Pope. Now off the table. As with 6 laps to go, it's Che chasing Grumio. A victory from Che here in this situation could bring that championship gap down to about 2 or 3 points. But he needs something to happen to Grumio in these closing laps. Grumio squeezing Che towards the wall in the tunnel. 80 3-second penalty. Pope is in. Has a 10-second penalty for a collision with Red J. So he needs to serve that, and the change being made. Front wing goes on. Getting back onto the racetrack now. Oh! And there he goes! And he's taking Emery with him. VSC deployed. I'm being told Pope's wheel disconnected there. And he's come up in front of Emery as he was chasing Websy. Nightmare fuel for Haas here in Monaco. Emery now with no front wing on his car. Pope's wheel comes back into play. And Haas's chances of winning Monaco's day are unfortunately over. Such a valiant effort for Pope, and it doesn't deserve for him to end his race like this. As the VSC draws to a close, the green flag goes back in the air. Race continues on here. It's Grumio's day at the minute. Websy now in 3rd place. Emery looking to hustle his car back to the pit lane here. I think Pope looks to do the same. May double stack potentially. And it's happening again for Pope. Emery in. Pope gets still working again. Pulling the car into the pit lane. And Pope, unfortunately, sees his Monaco Grand Prix come to an end. Emery serves on the racetrack, still looking at P4 right now. So 12 points on Haas's way. Pope, I got you in the chat, mate. Pope, what's just happened?
My wheel's broken, so. 32 laps down the drain, and now it doesn't work at all now. So. Yeah, it is what it is, but honestly, that was so much fun. And I can only apologise for everyone races that I did ruin with my wheel messing up there.
Was it just at the end there with Red J and what's that little train going towards turn 12? Is that what
it happened before that. I went into AI, and that's when Grumio gained, and then if I pressed the pedal, it just full autos. Like on controller, it'd be instant throttle. So obviously. Yeah, there's not much I can really do, unfortunately. Oh my lord.
Well, mate, I think I speak for everyone in the stream. I think the race fully didn't deserve to end that way, given the pace that you've put on today. I'd say one of, if not the fastest car on the track throughout the Grand Prix. But of course, this race in the hands of Grumio and Che now.
Obviously, I think those two have been absolutely outstanding, especially Grumio, who's pitted Is it 4 times now? I'm not too sure.
Let me check. 4 times, yes.
It's incredible, and I just wish I could have actually seen what the final few laps would have looked like. However, you know, it is
Sim racing, eh?
exactly F1 24. Hey,
That's the reason why I went back to F1 2020 to get myself 4 games away from it.
of course, but 2 laps remaining now, and obviously that is a huge train. Well, there was a huge train of 6 cars. That was incredible.
Earlier on, yeah, but that the train earlier still being led by Curtis. They split up a little bit here. It's now JB holding off PJ, EJ, and Courtney Goblin. Tries to send that 5 times fast, but still 10th Cannon and keep being held at bay by Curtis. Curtis has done a remarkable job himself here, up to P5 now.
Yeah, I mean, I'm to see 15 drivers still remaining, no matter where you are, you should applaud yourself, because that is incredible. Especially Curtis and 10th, who haven't got penalties. I would include myself on that as well, because I do believe my penalty was a bit harsh from the game. But everyone's done an absolutely outstanding job, and if we go into it with simulation damage, and obviously now with wet conditions, and everyone is thinking, yeah, it's a bit of a meme race, but everyone's taking it so well, and can only be impressed by everyone.
Without a doubt. So a lap and a half to go in this Grand Prix, and it's Grimio's day in the minute. 4.6 to the good over Chen. You're right, 4 pit stops made in this Grand Prix. It's been a remarkable drive for him. I think probably one of the best I've seen from Grimio in quite some time, and just definitely shows you the reigning champion isn't here to play around.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially at this point now where you're looking at your top 3 contenders, probably top 2 after this race. Obviously, Dan dropping points here. Unfortunate, especially after coming off that win last week, but these 2 are just showing the cream of the crop that they are.
Of course, we've seen these guys go head-to-head for the championship before, back in season 14. I've said it since the start of the season, since these 2 in particular have been cooking, but I honestly think this is season 14 version 2, as both drivers are a lot stronger this time, without a doubt.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I mean, you're still looking at, I think Grumio may have the edge, but what Grumio doesn't have right now is a consistent teammate.
That is true.
In land, and no fault of Landlord's own, he sometimes just can't qualify, and having that extra person really does come in handy.
I think I have to agree with you. Teammates are always crucial in Formula 1, and here in the RDR it's no different. So on to the final lap then. It is Grumio in control now. He's done 24 laps those intermediates. Props to Che and Websy for going, or everyone so these guys have done 40 plus laps on their tyres. I'm sure Imri would have made it again on his as well. Of course, made several changes over the course. So I think that drive through really set him sort of to the back. But from there, he's back to P4, which is still a very respectable drive. But of course, Grumio a bit too quick for everyone here. It's only about half a lap to go.
Yeah, outstanding drive, and yeah, I can only apologise to Imri because I probably did cost him P3. However, it's not really much I could do, especially with my broken wheel. But yeah, everyone has just drove like outstandingly well, and Courtney Goblin, who's just left, but I do really hope we'll still get a point in this race.
Will do, yep. He's gone into AI, who's on course to come in P9. But right now, our race leader is rounding the last 2 corners on the circuit through Raskas and towards turn 19 for the final time to go back-to-back in the Monaco Grand Prix for the 3rd season succession. Salve Grumio runs to checkered flag and wins here in the Principality. Che comes home a valiant 2nd place. It's a remarkable drive. Websy will take 3rd on the podium. Fantastic racing him too. Imri at the last corner. The drive-through really set back the start of his day, but he's fought back to finish a very respectable P4. A good 12 points. I'm sure he would have loved the podium, but of course, such is racing sometimes. Curtis with the remarkable drive through for P5, unless 10th Cannon can get him in the closing phases of this race. She's been up close throughout the entire Grand Prix, and these 2 have made contact once or twice, but 10th's got one last chance here, perhaps try and send it into turn 19, maybe around the outside. EJ over the line. So no, the line's got penalty. Reg over the line, sorry. He's taken P15 from this Grand Prix. Here comes 10th and Curtis at the last corner. 5th for Curtis, 6th for 10th. By about half and a half. 10th sending over the finish line. JB home for P7. Good points for Alpine today. PJ 8th. EJ 9th. Fantastic performance in the reserve. And Ethan takes 8th in the end. EJ 9th and PJ rounds at the top 10 after penalties. Courtney Goblin takes the last point now. I think that should do it in terms of the top 10 penalty order wise. Here comes AT. P12 for the Aston Martin driver, and obsessed with the last car to come across the line. In the end, making it to the checkered flag. P13 at the end of it. But Grumio, your winner.
Yeah, outstanding race that. Wow.
14 drivers to the checkered flag. Brilliant, brilliant race all round.
Yeah, and yeah, obviously, at the end of the day, no, even if you didn't finish with any points, you applaud yourself for that result, because finishing 78 laps of Monaco is no easy task.
No easy task at all, especially on sim damage in the wet conditions. I was wondering at some stage if we'd need the wet tyres. Was there any risk of that over the course of the race?
No, the wet tyres are pretty much null and void on this year's game, apart from like typhoon weather. So
And how
Inces
often do we
were
do
pretty.
that?
Exactly. Well, never say never in the RDL, especially after exciting races just as that.
And of course, we have still got several more 100% races to go. The next one being, which I believe will be Silverstone in 4 weeks' time. So look forward to that start of March. But Grumio then wins it. He's gone 2 for 2 in 100% races. And once again, it's Che following home from that race in second. So fantastic drive from those two. And of course, fantastic drive to everyone who finished the race. Fair play to all of you. Did a fantastic job over the course of that Grand Prix. Celebration beginning then, and we'll hopefully get post-race interviews underway after what has been a excellent race. Thoroughly enjoyable, at least from my end. Honestly, I was at a point where I think I was gonna. I probably should say it on stream, but I didn't. I felt like I was gonna fall asleep at some point during the sort of mid portion of the race. I don't know why, but then I took a minute and I was okay after that. So that's on me.
It's long. It is long at the end of the day. It's not about the excitement that was there. I mean, the excitement was absolutely electric, like genuinely amazing. That train of cars, if someone makes a move, it really shows. But yeah, it was very tiring, I'm sure, for yourself and especially for the drivers.
Well, here we go then. We got our first interviewee in for the evening. Websy comes home in third place, and then Websy, congratulations for starts finishing the race, and 2, getting a spot on the podium. Fair play to you.
Yeah, sorry, I was listening to 2 streams at the same time. Yeah, what a race that was. First, let me say, hey, Pope, such a shame, mate. You deserve that. Down to mechanical, obviously issues. Imri, he was dead quick today. And obviously Dan was flying. I mean, he got in front of me. He overtook me, put some fresh tyres on, and he was just absolutely flying. Before I knew it, kind of thing. Well, 78 lap race, but by the time I looked up, he was like, I don't know, 20 seconds ahead of me. So astounding pace from the top kind of 4 or 5 lads, realistically. I feel a little bit. Obviously, I thought that I might have got 5 there. I've got a 10-second penalty, but that was from me when someone pulled over. I think they went into the lane, the pit lane, onto the right, and actually took over because obviously there's a blue flag, and it gave me a 10-second penalty. So obviously that'll be removed. But Imri was catching me quite a bit, and then. And I kind of thought, well, he had a 3-second. I knew he was pushing, so then obviously he got a 6-second. I didn't have any. I just had 1 warning for the entire race. So I was just taking my time. I knew that I didn't have the pace for the top. I knew that I could probably hold Imri off, especially for the 6 seconds. And I was just taking my time not just on the tyres. The tyres were crap, but. Just literally trying to keep all the straight piece on the car, not to be bent. Obviously, you hit and you're 20 seconds, 20, 30 seconds behind, then you're behind other people, and it just really play a race. So happy days. No, I wasn't expecting third. Definitely wasn't expecting third. In a dry race, I'd be looking at maybe. I would think maybe 5th. Even the wet race, I was maybe 5th, but I'm not good in the wet. So there you go.
I mean, based on that race, I'd challenge that given the second half of the Grand Prix. But your second podium of the season, I will ask you going forward, are we looking forward to perhaps another one at some point during the season?
Well, we always wish, don't we? But it's obviously, we all know there's just so many different down to weather conditions, to anything, to a safety car, to who has penalty points on the last 5 laps, and the safety car comes out. Anyone can kind of get 1, 2, 3, and in this league. So it's good. It's good fun, and obviously it would be nice if the top runners, top 3, wasn't as top. But there you go. They're just too quick, aren't they?
Fair enough.
They need a bit of bad luck, actually. But being a sportsman and all that, they just need some really bad luck.
More or less, yeah. That's probably all it takes for the rest of the pack to catch up. Well, good job on the podium in the end, and obviously fair play to you for making it to the finish line, along with the other 14 finishers. Coming now to 10th Cannon, who of course came home just behind Curtis in the end. 10th, good job on that one, and no penalties again, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you're not mistaken. I'm surprised at that, to be honest. I thought I would at least have to pit for front wing or for a puncture, or maybe at least get one penalty. But no, I somehow managed to keep it clean. It was a lot harder in the wet to do that than it was in the dry. It was pretty good in the dry, actually. How the car was handling pretty well, but yeah, it just wasn't to be beyond P6 today. But I think given it was, I consider this a win. I think I think I've done well.
I'd have to agree with you. Obviously, Curtis kept everyone at bay there for P5. So, did you say you gave you a run for your money today?
Kinda. I mean, I stared at his ass for about 50 laps, and then I realized there was no passing him. He was defending like really hard, and I think it was good defending. But I mean, I wouldn't really know. I'd have to watch it back. But no, it was still nice to get a good result, even despite not being able to sort of show what I'm capable of, I suppose. I mean, I don't think I would have been able to get much beyond P5 or P6, but yeah, it is what it is. I finished, which is what my goal was coming into this, so I'm happy.
Obviously, I will ask. Obviously, we've done 2 of these 100% races now. I mean, what do we think of them in terms of enjoyability? Do you have fun doing these ones?
Much more fun than I am the 50%, I think. It's a lot more fun to sort of settle into a rhythm and like sort of get deeply focused. It's not something you can really do in a 50% race because it's only about 40 minutes. But even despite the the cramps, it's very nice to really get into a rhythm and really drive.
Fair enough. Obviously, last thing, in terms of next week's race, Canada coming up. Obviously, a track that on its day can be heavy on track limits in places. Do you reckon we can go another penalty-free race next week?
I think so. I'm probably going to end up doing some practice before it. I'm pretty good when it comes to track limits in Canada, so I'm looking forward to it.
Should be an exciting race. Well, good job today on the points finish, and we'll move on now to Red J, the 2 Mercedes cars. Commiserations to you guys. Perhaps things didn't go to plan in today's race. Red J, well, congratulations, of course, on making it to the finish line. Obviously, the rain played into that. Did you have any trouble in the rain at all today?
No, not really. Yeah, it was a difficult race, but obviously happy to finish with no penalties as well. Only one track limit warning throughout 78 laps. I take a lot of pride in that. So yeah, I think I drove as well as what I could. It didn't help. I think it might have been lap 19. Between the hairpin and Portier, Duck had a bit of a spin, and unfortunately, as I was trying to get past because it was so narrow, I took quite a lot of body damage onto the car, which I'm pretty certain you can't repair that in the pits. It's just, you either retire or you cope with it for the next 60 or so laps, and I just, I continue, but it just meant I didn't really have much pace anyway, but then I really lost a lot of pace with that. And I think what probably kept me going throughout the whole race is you're just hoping for a massive, for someone like me and obsessed, you're hoping that there's going to be a lot of incidents ahead. If we want to score points, I think there was, some hope to there. Maybe there still is if there's penalties. I think Obsessed has got a chance to get maybe a point or two, which would be great. But yeah, I don't think the attrition was quite as high as what I thought it was going to be, and I think probably everyone else would agree with me on that. I think some people were expecting there was only going to be like 6 or 7 cars that would finish. So I think it was 14 in the end, although I was classified as 15th. So yeah, it's a tough, really tough race. But I think, well done to everyone, in particular those that finished. I think we can all, give ourselves a pat on the back, because doing that for 78 laps, it's not easy at all. It really isn't. You've got to have so much concentration, and especially when you factor the rain into that. It's it's really difficult, but I think we all drove very, very well. I'm shocked that there wasn't a single safety car. I think there was 3 or 4 separate VSCs throughout the race, but yeah, if Obsessed can come away with a point following this, I think that would be an even better result. But in all honesty, I think it was good that the 2 of us were just able to get to the end. So I think we can definitely, and I think everyone can take some pride in that.
As I said to you last week, I do love, again, you always come in with something positive to say about everyone across the board. I always appreciate that so much. Obviously, in terms of next week's race, Canada, what's the outlook for you guys at Mercedes?
Well, it's my favourite track. I would love to go there one day for obvious reasons. But yeah, it's a really fun track. I think I have scored a point here once. So it's just got such a lovely flow to it. I love everything about Canada. It's just such a nice place. So yeah, and the track is just so cool to drive around. So I really, really will look forward to that. For some reason, I had it in my head it was Spain next. Canada's one of those weird ones, how it fits into the calendar, because it technically makes no sense. So I completely forgot that it was Canada next week, but I'm really happy to hear that. We will go into it hoping we can score points as always. We are actually still in a fight to not finish bottom. I think McLaren, are they on 4 points when I last checked? Can't quite remember, but we will hope to try and be competitive there, and we will see.
Have to wait and see, indeed. I'm with you in terms of the Spain thing. It does feel weird having been 8 rounds in, having not done it yet. But hopefully things will look up for you guys next week in Canada. We'll come now to Obsessed. So of course, Obsessed perhaps looking at maybe a point if the steward support goes away. Obsessed, mate. Again, as I said to everyone, fair play, make it to the end. Did you have fun out there today? How was that?
Could you repeat that one more time, please?
To be fair, I felt myself speaking fast. Yeah, just fair play for you to make it to the end of the race. Did you enjoy that? Did you have a good time?
Yeah, I didn't think it was too terribly horrible. I kept it out of the walls for the most part. I think my hard tires, they were pretty good. If the rain had let up, I could have gone back onto them, and they had only like 20% wear, I think, on one of the tires. But other than that, I didn't find it super hard to keep it out of the walls. You just brake. The only real trouble or 3, but yeah, not too terrible.
Not too terrible at all there. Of course, Reggie made mention of the attrition rate. Were you in the bracket perhaps thinking that there would only be about 10 cars making it into the race, or what was the thinking there?
I bet there was going to be about 12 finishers. So I had a little higher expectations, because last time we raced Monaco, I think we only had like 16 or 17 starters, and I want to say we had 11 finishers or so. So I didn't figure, once everybody kind of got in a groove, I figured they'd be pretty well off. But 15, I think, is what Red J said.
Yeah,
that's a pretty good rate of finish.
Yeah, not too bad a finishing number at all. So obviously, I asked Red J what in terms of the outlook for next week is. Perhaps points on the cards this time around. Is this the one next week?
Hopefully. I quite enjoy Canada. I don't think it's a terrible track. I don't hate it. It's pretty fun to drive, and yeah, it would be nice to have some points on the board in Canada.
We'll have to wait and see. Good job to make it to the end of the race, and we'll come down to JB, who I believe came home 7th in the end. JB, is that right?
Yeah.
Indeed. Okay, yes, I got it right this week. Well, again, I think we're all in sort of two minds in terms of the attrition rate. Obviously, I think you'll be pleased, I imagine, with the with how the race was today in terms of drivers made it to the end, the lack of a full safety car, that sort of thing.
Well, I'm pretty sure the safety car doesn't work around this track. Does never appear. But no, I'm happy with. I think it was because Pope was classified 14 people finishing, and both Mercedes, both Red Bulls, both Alpines. It's good to see some teams getting both cars to the end, and it was a good race. And for me personally, I think to get 5th and 7th as a team, that's really good for the constructors.
I was going to ask about good result for you guys over there, and of course that will move you, I think, a tad bit closer to Williams in the standings. Obviously, they got points through Websy today, but do you expect that gap to close a bit more over the next few races? What do we think?
I doubt it. I mean, I think we got lucky that Cock crashed out, and like you say, Websy, he's getting podiums quite regularly now. So it's good to see that. But for us, obviously, I think P5, if we can hold on to that against the Red Bulls, and who both scored points today, I might just add, because Cottony never normally does, so that's good to see. And obviously both Salbers as well, also both in the points. So it'll be interesting to see if we can hold on to P5. But this is definitely a really good result.
The Salbers and the Red Bulls, are they sort of the main cars to beat when we go to Canada next week?
I think so, yeah. I think PJ, he had a lot of penalties today, and he also got a bit unlucky with... I'm not sure what happened, but he had to pit again, so I ended up ahead of him, and Ethan also got taken out of the hairpin, which will obviously be looked at, but that also meant that gained another place. So it's going to be interesting to see if where we end up in the drivers and the constructors in the end. But we'll keep pushing and look forward to Canada.
Should be very exciting indeed. Well, that'll do it for posters interviews, and that'll cap it off for the stream. Has anyone got a word of the race to put forward after that absolute spectacle of a show you guys put on?
I mean, before the word of the race, obviously, thank you very much, Zach, for streaming once again, because that is no mean feat to do 78 laps with half of it in wet conditions as well. So huge kudos to you.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, good job, Zach.
Much appreciated, you guys. Honestly, there was a point where I thought I was fearing I was going to end up doing something silly, like falling asleep while I was still on live, because there's one point where I was sort of don't say this the wrong way, but there's one point where I was really sort of struggling to keep on talking. So you'll probably notice me going like silent here and there every so often. But no, the energy came back up once Grumio and Pope started Grumio and Chase started chasing down Pope for the win. But honestly, I've got to point this out. We'll be going for 2.5 hours. This is officially my longest stream in races driving in my RDO career. So it's been a fun one. Very, very long. I need a nap.
Well done.
Thank you, guys. And I think that'll more or less cap it off then, yeah. So that will do it for tonight's race. Next week's race taking place on the 10th of February. That'll be the Canadian Grand Prix at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Should be an absolute spectacle of a race like this one was. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe for more future RDL content as the series continues on. And until next time, have an absolutely fantastic evening, and we shall see you soon. Goodbye.